Hi Libra, welcome to your mid-January 2019 love reading update. It's Raina, and it's nighttime, so it's a little bit dim here, so bear with me. All right. Oh, you got a lot of fire around you. So the opposite sign of yours is Aries. And I think I'm trying to remember if Aries was the one that I got a lot of Libra. I'm not sure. But the other fire signs are Sagittarius, and actually the Knight of Wands in the center is connected to Sagittarius, supposedly, even though I associate it with Aries. And Leo is the other fire sign besides Aries. So in your love life, that is the card that best represents you right now, or the situation at hand. This can be that you are feeling like a Knight of Wands. You're feeling like you're just kind of footloose and fancy-free and playing the field. This reading is intended for people who are single and looking and married and miserable. That's how I would characterize it. No, really, people who are either in troubled relationships or people who are single and looking. If you're single and looking, it could be that you're having a lot of fun being single. And sometimes people are single after years of being in an unhappy marriage. So maybe this is a novelty for you after many years, and so you're just enjoying it. For some people, this is just a stage in life. If you're in your 20s and you feel like the Knight of Wands, don't think there's anything wrong with you. Remember that finding a mate is something that should be taken quite seriously. It's interesting because Libra is a sign that really wants that mate. You know, Libra rules the 7th house of marriage. So Libra people are not necessarily like the Knight of Wands in terms of their attitude towards love. They're not just out to have a good time. They really do want to pair up with somebody. And because Libra connects to partnerships. And not just romantic ones either. But I mean, you just work really well with another person. However, the situation may simply be that you are in a place right now that you find yourself independent, and it may be like a revelation, like, wow, this is kind of fun. I got divorced and I thought I was going to be miserable, and it turns out I feel liberated. The Knight of Wands, to me, it is like sowing one's oats, because this could be somebody else. This could be the person you're interested in, and I'm kind of leaning towards Sag, and it's based on the Wheel of Fortune card that I'm going to mention in a minute. But this kind of person, if this is somebody that you are sweet on, to use an old-timey phrase, you may find that this person is quite elusive, that they slip through your hands, that they are there. You know, I call this person a good time Charlie because they tend to kind of like be a lot of fun, but then they disappear the next day. And this is because they have commitment issues. Now, just because you have commitment issues doesn't make you a bad person. Maybe the person is on the young side. And actually, the Knights represent males who are under the age of, I don't know if it's like 35. I would say under the age of 40 chronologically, because nowadays youth has been kind of extended quite a long time. But remember too, or maybe I should say to you, is that we shouldn't just look at chronological age. Because if you're dealing with somebody who is kind of emotionally maybe a bit immature, if you want to take that stance about it, and they are even in their 40s, they're still fearing making that commitment, the age is just a number at that point. And they may still have these boyish qualities if we're going to look at it as a male, but they are not willing to settle down. And we might look at that as immaturity, but that's all relative, because for some people, it's absolutely what they feel they should do. And nobody can say who should be with somebody and who shouldn't be. That, you know what I mean? It's not the case that everybody wants to be in a relationship because they suddenly hit 30 or they suddenly hit 35. And that is everyone's prerogative. But I want to make one point, because I did get a comment the other day about the fact that I was referring to women with one of the cards. When they're court cards, like the knights and the queens and stuff like that, I do tend to emphasize gender, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the truth. And I intend all of these readings for both genders. So yes, I have the vast majority of you out there are women, but that doesn't mean that I'm not reading for men. I'm reading for everyone. So just understand that this person, if this is a different person, this is somebody other than you, that this person you may have a hard time pinning them down. And we look at the past position to kind of gain clarity on this when we have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is connected to the planet Jupiter, so this could kind of solidify that this is a Sagittarius, since Jupiter rules Sagittarius. In terms of other factors here, Jupiter, if we look at it, if we consider that this may be a symbolic of the Jupiter transit in your particular chart, Libra, and of course this is a general reading, and even the astrology that I mentioned is general, but for Libra, Jupiter in Sagittarius is in your third house of communication. So it's possible that you met this person through the internet, for instance, through some kind of way that people communicate, in maybe an online dating service, and maybe you really hit it off, and that the Knight of Wands is showing that kind of passion. Maybe you feel a strong physical attraction for this person, and you have great physical chemistry, but just understand what you may be dealing with. What crosses you is represented by the Chariot. The Chariot card connects to the sign of Cancer. And this is, of all the water signs, I think Cancer is the one that you tend to be involved with. So perhaps this is an ex, or this could be somebody that you are currently with, and you've met this Knight of Wands and you feel more compatible with that person. This is in the challenge position, so whatever this card represents is going to be kind of a detrimental thing. So if we read this as a reversed card, since it is in the challenge position, we would say that there is a lack of control somewhere in the situation. I'm guessing that it will tend to be with another person. Usually Libra doesn't get that crazy, that you tend to be quite balanced in your approach to life. I suppose there could be a couple of times when you may veer off course, and one of them is if you have really felt a sense of oppression with a relationship. And like I'm using marriage because that is the situation that tends to keep people stuck. Maybe they have kids and things like that to accompany that, versus just a dating relationship where it's more recent. But if you were in a very long-term unhappy relationship and you have finally freed yourself from it, you may have that sense of initial elation that kind of gets a little bit out of control, where you are just kind of sampling all the flowers around you, because you're feeling that so free and so rid of this oppressive influence. And that would make perfect sense. But also, it could be a situation where you're getting carried away because perhaps you have a great physical chemistry with somebody, and maybe they're trying to move very fast. Or, well, I think in this case, it's not so much that they would be wanting you to commit too quickly. I think it's more of you falling for somebody who may be not looking at the connection the way that you are, where they're seeing it as a good time and you're seeing it as, this is the one, this is the person I'm meant to be with, this is my soulmate. And you have to be more in control so that you don't get carried away with thinking something that may be totally false. And understanding that you can have amazing attraction to somebody on the physical level and they are not compatible to you. Remember that Libra is a sign ruled by Venus, so the aesthetics of a situation can always be very, very convincing for Libra. So if they are very attracted to somebody's physical appearance, that can hold them quite a long time, because they are so drawn to beauty, drawn to things that are pleasing to their eye, and that could lead to I would call it like an infatuation that is not really something permanent, because it's kind of shallow, and so it's important for you to get your head together so that you can really understand if this person is the right one for you. What's coming in, or the advice, is the King of Wands. And this card, oh, now it's all nice and lit. This card is a card of a sense of authority, and obviously this could be some sort of person. Again, this is another fire card, but you can see this is the king and not the knight. So maybe this is a facet of you that comes to your senses and takes control of a situation so that you're able to not make a mistake regarding spending more time with somebody who you have to chase around. And this is important because you are the type of person who tends to have trouble making up your mind. And because this is the king, this can be very decisive. I always think of the kings as the judges of the tarot deck. The ones that tend to make all the decisions and tend to have this head on their shoulders, if you will. And also tend to be rather impartial. Even the King of Cups has a mature approach to emotions. And so this may simply be that you are like the Chariot in reverse that is out of control, you are deciding to master your situation. And with Wands, the mastery is coming from the self, is coming from, when I talk about self-mastery with love, it's really about understanding that when we join forces with somebody else, we never lose ourselves. And this is sometimes where Libra tends to slip up in relationships sometimes, where it can go more into the codependency and reliance too much on the other person to kind of define you. And this is not all Librans. We're not talking about that. We're saying if somebody is in love and they happen to be a Libra, what are the types of pitfalls? And this may be one of them. The King of Wands is somebody who knows himself, knows herself. And they are not looking for a relationship to prop them up, to define them, to keep them in line, or whatever you want to call it. They are just simply looking for a partner in life, a person that they can do things with, that they can just see things through their own eyes, but share their vision. And so we'll put it this way. It's a card of self-empowerment. And then the outcome is the Two of Wands. So we have more fire. And I got this in for another sign. Whenever you see the number 2, there may have to be a choice. You may be, I almost think with this Two of Wands, they should have arrows going in different directions, because this could be even a locational type of a card. The person is holding the world in his hands. Now, interestingly, in my Morgan Greer deck, they have another hand holding the wand as well. And somebody pointed that out to me. If I had that right in front of me, I could show you. But they were I think they were saying that sometimes when we make a decision, other people are affected by it, or they have some say in it, who knows. But in this deck, in the Rider-Waite deck, they just show the person themselves holding that wand. And this card can certainly mean that you're deciding whether or not to stay put, or maybe even move, to relocate. Maybe this is job related. But the other part of this is that you may have to choose between a fire sign, perhaps 2 fire signs, because we do have a Knight of Wands and a King of Wands. It's possible that the King of Wands, because this person is more mature, that they are also more predictable in a sense. And you may, for some reason, be attracted to the spontaneity of the Knight of Wands. And that's what makes you kind of feel like they're the one for you. But I think overall, if somebody isn't willing to stay put and commit to you, even if they said they indicated that they would, if their actions are not matching their words, that you're going to tire of it, because it might be a game of tag that you're playing with this person, that you're always one step behind them, and they may be making a lot of promises that they never keep. So be advised about that, because if there is a King of Wands, if this isn't an actual person in your life, maybe this is somebody that you are currently with in some cases, and you have felt that things have gotten stale, and you have met this person and they've, they're a breath of fresh air in a certain regard. Understand that those kinds of people may be very tempting because they seem so spontaneous, and especially maybe they're younger than you. the person. And that is an additional thing that you find very enticing, because even the chronological age difference can mean that this person is providing a different perspective that the King of Wands person can't bring. So understand that it's one thing to have this in small doses, but every day with a Knight of Wands individual might be a bit much. And the bloom may come off the rose after a while, because it may not be as fun on a day-to-day basis that it is in small increments or small, doses, so to speak. So anyway, I guess I'd title this "To Be Continued," because it sounds like there still is something that you are deciding. But suffice it to say, there's a lot of enthusiasm with the wands. There's a lot of creativity. There's a feeling of passion. And that is something that may sustain you if you've been feeling rather listless lately. However, with the Wheel of Fortune in the past position, this may simply be more indication that you have been going through recently a rather wonderful set of circumstances. And this is like icing on the cake. All right, Libra, that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this. For a personalized love reading, where I combine your natal chart and possibly somebody else's astrological information with a tarot spread, please check my link below. Otherwise, have a great rest of the month. Bye.